How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sundays 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it's Tuesday here on the show. You know what that means? How's it only Tuesday? It's all very weird to me because, you see, there's no Observer Radio last night. Dave's on vacation. So everything seems weird. I feel like I should have done an Observer Radio show last night. But fear not, we are here today for the time being. There's a bomb cyclone coming. You know what that is? An enormous wind event here in Seattle. And it's scheduled to hit at any time. And they're talking 65-mile-an-hour gusts, which around the Seattle area, that's bad times because we got trees everywhere. And I would say there's a decent chance there will not be a Bryan and Vinny show tonight because I don't think that I'm going to have power. Could change. I mean, we used to have the wind used to kind of blow just like a little bit and we'd lose power. But then the last, 7, 8, 9 years, I don't even think since at least Hanalei has been born, we don't lose power anymore. But I think my luck has run out. So we'll see what happens. But we are here now, so we are going to get as much into this show as we can before disaster strikes. And so a lot of news to talk about, including the Raw show last night. We've obviously got the War Games coming, which is still quite a ways away. We have an AEW pay-per-view this weekend, and the Survivor Series pay-per-view is the following weekend. So we'll tell you about everything that happened on Raw. We got NXT tonight, Dynamite on Wednesday. We got lineups for those shows. And a bunch of other news as well. AEW's filed some trademarks. They've announced some new events. Kofi Kingston has some words about the New Day's 10-year anniversary show. We got some ratings notes. Everybody got killed by Mike Tyson, except Jake Paul, ironically. So a lot to get into. Back in a moment. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
Happy birthday, dear Granny.
Happy birthday, Granny. Happy 95th birthday.
Thank you.
You got balloons behind you as well, Vinny. People can't really see them.
No.
They think it might just be your hump. But it's a very festive
I
day
should not
today.
laugh at that. That's a horrible insult that you just gave.
Yeah,
me.
you laughed. It was a good
But it
one.
was funny.
Happy birthday!
Okay.
Happy birthday, Granny!
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you guys, I don't even know what you just said. Okay, go.
Bye!
Bye, girls. Close the door, please. Rob Wanska, a top fan. That granny is one of a kind. If you cannot see that, you're blind. Whether she's knitting a quilt or giving Brian some guilt, she's the greatest old gal that you'll find.
Was that, who was that?
Producer
That was
Rob.
Rob.
Producer Rob?
Yeah.
Fine
like
job,
that.
Rob.
He has talent?
Thank you, Rob.
Wow.
This is Mariah May versus Anna J. Anna has a problem. Her top seems to want to drop down. She has to keep pulling it up. Mariah pins Anna for the win. I think Anna just gave up due to the fact that her wardrobe was malfunctioning.
That's what happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, if they wore decent clothes, it'd be better. Those T-straps are ridiculous.
Those what?
T-straps. Don't you know what a T-strap is?
No, I do not know what a T-strap
I
is.
don't think there's a T-strap in Brian's closet, Granny.
No.
I don't know.
T-strap. Oh, a thong? Why don't you say a thong?
A what?
Never mind. You don't know what a thong is?
No.
Why are we having this conversation?
What part of the body is it on?
Does it go on the
Woman.
top or the bottom?
On your
Butt?
butt. Yep.
Okay.
Granny had to be very careful. So it's a thong.
Why are we having this conversation?
According to the Old Testament of the Bible, who is the father of both Isaac and Ishmael?
Job.
Abraham.
Wrong.
Oh, really?
Abraham.
I just...
Did you say that?
Yes, he
I'm so-
did.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. You're right.
yeah.
I just didn't hear you.
Well, Granny, I hope you had a happy birthday today.
I had to.
Hey, we got a special present for you. You are officially being inducted, yes, into the Hall of Awesome.
It's about time.
Yes. You know what that is, Granny?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I want everybody to see this. How can I show it?
Clearly, Granny is really excited about being inducted into the Hall of Awesome. She's busy showing off her trophy.
Is that an old gray mare trophy?
It's got a horse on it for some reason. Lost audio during that break right there. Actually, we did lose audio, but we got it back because we're professionals.
Yeah.
The one good thing that happened today is we got audio back. All right. Well, what do we got to talk about?
Bomb cyclones.
I'm not mad about anything today. That's at least good.
Yet.
That's true. Yet.
Did you look in the chat?
I gotta check something. Tell everybody what you let's see what you tell everybody about. Talk
What
for
should
a
I
second.
tell everybody
There
about?
is an issue with the audio. Hold on. Stand by.
Okay. Well, good. As Bryan goes and does that, yeah. Didn't really look at the front page or anything. I probably should have before the show. That would have been professional.
All right, now can you hear me?
There we go.
All right, that was weird.
That was good filling of time right there.
I didn't like that one bit. Yeah, I got to do
Neither
something.
did I. Go ahead. Now he's gone again. Look at that. So
Well, see, it's
now
not going to matter because when the bomb cyclone hits, we're just going to have to
Yes.
redo everything tomorrow anyway. God.
By the way, did you tell everyone it was not my fault last Thursday when it came to this show not being live and forcing me into doing a canned show for the members of the site?
Yeah, of course I told him that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I always tell everybody the truth. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get into the news here.
All right, now let's go.
Well, we got to talk about. We're actually going to talk about, of all things, the ratings, because Friday night, brother. Oh man, AEW Rampage and SmackDown both got killed.
Mm-hmm.
Rampage did 186,000 viewers, down 22% from the previous week. A .06, down 14% from the previous week, and ties the second lowest rating in the show's history. The only show that did worse was the November 1st episode that did 0.05. SmackDown did 1.2 million viewers, down 20%. A .32 in 18 to 49, down 32%. And it was the smallest 18 to 49 since a best of 2023 episode last December. It was the lowest audience total for the show since they moved back to the USA Network.
The people heard Rosie Perez was doing commentary and they had to tune in.
Do I have to tell you all why, or can you figure this out on your own? Yes, the Mike Tyson fight killed everything else on television that evening.
It killed me, too, because it didn't go on till midnight Eastern time.
Yeah, Netflix claimed a peak audience of 60 million households. Although, how many households only one person was watching that fight? The numbers appear to have been in the range of 110 to 120 million viewers.
Hustling
Which,
those usernames.
think
too.
about this. The only time you're going to get 120 million viewers on television is the Super Bowl on broadcast television, okay?
God bless American football.
120 million viewers on Netflix. That's like...
A lot.
That's wild. So anyway, SmackDown and Rampage, they had no hope. But at least Collision did well. 0.11, as well as that's going to be.
Yeah.
And 356,000 viewers, which is the best audience since September 28th, so not too bad.
Brother, in football season, 350,000 people is probably where they're going to be, whether they want to be or not. So that's fine.
Was it really, by the way, that bad, the streaming issues? Because I had no streaming issues. Actually, you know what I did? Twice it crashed. But I got right back on. Like, I saw the fight in its entirety.
I had issues during the second fight and during the beginning of the Taylor Serrano fight. Like, all my issues were then. By the time the main event came on, I had no problem whatsoever.
You know, a bunch of my friends, so as soon as I knew this was going to be like the biggest thing ever, because first, Whitney asks about it, so then I know something's up. And then, Paisley's talking about her friends at school, keep talking about this Mike Tyson fella. And then, everybody that was supposed to do jiu-jitsu on Friday, like they're all in the group text going, hey, you want to come over at 5? We'll see if we can watch it before class starts. Which, when you think about it, it's like, do you guys know nothing about nothing? That's just not opening the show. No. So anyway, I went and...
It's just getting out of doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I went and taught jiu-jitsu, and, everyone is like, don't tell us who won, don't tell us who won. And I was like, dude, it's 7:30. Like, they're nowhere close to getting into the ring. What are you geeks talking about? And so then I went to eat, and we were all at Mexican food, Passion Tequila, shout out there, and it's playing on the big screen. Still nowhere near the main event.
Wait, bootleg?
And I shouldn't have thrown that out there, shouldn't I? Oh well. But anyway, so can we edit that, Dom? Anyway, everything's on the big screen, everything like that. And I think it was just a recap. I don't think it was the actual Netflix. But anyway, everyone's watching. Actually, I don't think that would be considered bootleg, would it? Because it's Netflix. It wasn't a pay-per-view.
Well, no, I think they still
I think it's okay.
I'm sure they had some sort of bar restaurant gimmick. Don't they always do that?
I don't know. It might have actually been okay.
Oh, well,
I mean, they bought their Netflix. You can show Netflix to people. But anyway, the point is, Paisley was there. And she...
At the bar?
Not at the bar, you idiot.
Oh.
It's a restaurant.
Oh.
So Paisley looks up at the TV, and I'm eating or whatever, and then, she turns to me, and she very quietly just goes, I saw his butt crack. I was like, what? Okay. That was weird. So we continue on eating and everything like that. And then later, it turns out she did, in fact, see his butt crack, because Mike Tyson was walking around with no pants on. His butt crack's hanging out. So, anyway, she was delighted to see that. But then I went home and... didn't even come on until after midnight. I was like, what are we all waiting around for? So, yeah. But anyway, he had a lot of people watching that fight. A lot of people. And they did not watch wrestling as a result. But hey, you got to give it to the, 1.2 million viewers that did choose SmackDown over the Tyson fight. And the 186,000 that chose Rampage over the Tyson fight. So, yeah, there you go.
Sure, yeah. What did you eat at the Passion Tequila?
I actually came home and ate.
Oh, what did you got to go? What'd you get?
No, I didn't get it to go. I came home and cooked because I'm on the wagon right now. I'm getting in shape.
Really? You're cutting?
Yeah, not cutting, just trying to be,
healthy?
Bro, I bought a quarter cow, okay? I got 125 pounds of frozen meat in the freezer. So, yeah, I'm trying to go through that. It's all real good meat. Now,
did you go in on somebody with that?
Yes, I did. We got a whole cow among the three of us.
Man, I tell you what, that's the great part about having a butcher shop close.
It wasn't close. It was in Eastern Washington.
Oh, here,
but
Briscoe
still,
County.
It was close enough.
Guys around. Got to get a deer too.
All right, WrestleNomics. Where are the quarter hours for this Collision show?
I don't know.
I need to see how the video did that I've had to fight for the last 24 hours from people going, Bryan, they mentioned it on Dynamite. They mentioned it on Dynamite, dude. I don't care. Mention it on the actual show I'm watching.
Are you talking about November Rain?
Yes, I am, which apparently will be on Dynamite on Wednesday. And damn it, they better open the show saying at the end of the show, we've got a video for you. November Rain, Guns N' Roses. We got a special video taking us into full gear this weekend and plug it throughout the show.
Man, if they paid all that sorts of money, I don't care if people got sick of it or not. People forget how much that Paul Heyman would play those ECW music videos over and over. You pay that much to Guns N' Roses,
bro.
Play it on Rampage, play it on Collision, play it on Dynamite.
Forget the playing, dude.
Gear.
That's not even the issue. If I had the rights to that song and we did an F4W music video, you wouldn't even be watching us on video right now. There'd be a giant graphic saying, at the end of this show, November Rain F4W music video, stick around. I wouldn't even let you look at me and Mike. You just see that graphic for 45 minutes waiting for the end of the thing.
Instead of where is Izzy, can I hold up a sign that says, where's Dr. Keith or where's Coughlin or something?
This person says, I love the song, I love AEW, but the video was just all right. No, it was quite great. It was quite great. I would say they could have played the music a little louder.
Yeah.
There we did hear, too much people taking bumps and going, ah, like that Mummy. I would have preferred more of the actual song, but it was quite a, I thought, exceptional video.
You know, you talked yesterday about how great everybody thought that Mick Foley video was. You know the video that's stuck in my mind after all these years? The Clocks one for Kurt Angle. Remember that with his neck and everything?
No.
That's the one I remember, the Clocks. I'm sure the people do. Think
Well,
about it
you
during
know-
break. Go watch it during break and come back and listen to us.
We got news after the break, and then stick around to the end of the show because we do have a special music video set to the tune of November Bomb Cyclone. Back in a moment, Observer Live.
No scent on bomb. Don't do it. No, don't do it, man.
Show Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Mike Sempervive, also of WrestlingObserver.com.
Haven't been wiped off the face of the earth by the bomb cyclone yet.
Not yet, but we got a scoop here.
Oh, yeah.
Defy and Progress Wrestling. Friday, November 29th, which is 10 days from now, 3 p.m. matinee show at Roulette Intermedium in Brooklyn, New York. And we have an exclusive match drop here. You heard it here first. AEW's toughest human on the roster, Marina Shafir, will be facing Ali Catch. And Marina is the Defy Women's World Champion. So that's taking place on the show. Mustafa Ali, who is Chicago's own, in fact, will be facing Kevin Knight. And this will be taking place prior to GCW at the same venue later that evening. So you can actually go to Defy and GCW. Tickets are defywrestling.com if you want to go. That's Friday, November 29th, 3 p.m. matinee show, Roulette Intermedium in Brooklyn, New York. And I have heard that Marina has improved dramatically. And if you've not been paying attention, she's been doing tons of indie dates. So, a lot of the AEW stars, they do their AEW dates and that's it. Some of them do indie dates, and she is one of them. And it's funny because if you look at Anna Jay, for example, Anna Jay went to Stardom, and she wasn't even there that long. She was it was a relatively short trip. She had X number of matches. It wasn't like she had 100 matches or anything like that. And she came back and she was way better. And Marina Shafir has been basically doing indie dates in numerous places all over the country. And apparently she's improved dramatically as well. So it's almost like if you work in a lot of different places with a lot of different people, you get a lot better.
How about that, huh? And you got to be motivated to go out there and do it. You got to go out there and seek it. There are spots. It's not like they just give those away in Stardom or anything, but Anna Jay has the AEW connection, and I think AEW needs to utilize Stardom more, okay? And I'm not going to waste anybody's time here talking about women's wrestling or anything, but I remember when...
Not a waste of time to talk about women's wrestling. Are you asking for heat?
Yeah, over in Stardom, though, I mean, this is a niche of a niche here, and the fact is, Mina Shirakawa was a gimmick when she started. She was there because of how good she looked. In the time that she's been there, she's actually built herself up into becoming a very good women's professional wrestler. You wouldn't know that with how she's been portrayed on Dynamite and everything. It's been more comedy, but I think people are going to be surprised when she actually faces off against Mariah May one-on-one. And Mariah May is a great example of somebody who went over there and actually got infinitely better just with her short time that she spent in Stardom. So hopefully that plays itself out on TV. And I think regardless of anything, getting some of these women more opportunities overseas, working a different style, seeing different experiences, just getting the work in would be beneficial for everyone. I know you got Ring of Honor, and that's great, but also sending some of those women, a Red Velvet, somebody like that. I know she's going to CMLL a lot, but utilizing some of the people like that to go out when you're not using them on TV anyway would be a smart idea.
Had an email here saying that same thing happened with Drew McIntyre. He got fired, worked the indies, came back much better. Yeah, that happens to everybody who goes out and does the indies. They come back much better. So,
not necessarily.
Virtually everybody. How many people go and do like a bunch of indie dates and come back worse?
It's how much dedication
besides
they really
me
have. But we've had some people from WWE like try to dip their toe in it and realize, no, I like WWE. There is no other wrestling for me out there, so it doesn't end up working itself out.
They can still get better in the ring. That's what we're talking about here. Like actually improving at what you're paid to do. By the way, we also got Marina working Jody Threat at the Bloodsport 12 event.
Much more interested in that one. Josh
Alexander versus Mike Bailey. I presume that was booked before Josh Alexander stopped taking any dates.
Well, is that does no matter what happens, does both winners, do both people go to AEW afterwards?
That could be. We have somebody asked me where I thought Josh Alexander was going to end up, and
I wish it was New Japan full time, but it doesn't make sense for him.
I did predict AEW, largely because all of the WWE NXT crossover stuff never used Josh Alexander.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He's great. But anyway, he'll face Mike Bailey, who also is great. We have got Josh Barnett versus MVP.
That's awesome.
Who, despite walking with his cane in AEW, is and just received his Jiu-Jitsu black belt. So he'd kill me. Masha Slamovich versus Lei Ying Lee.
Zaya.
I'm not going to lie here. I mean, come on. The guy outweighs me by 100 pounds. Also a black belt? I'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
Charlie Dempsey against Akira. Kevin Koo and Dominic Guarini.
Look at that.
Carmen Petrovic is working the show against Sumi Sakai.
Sumi
Carmen
Sasaki.
Petrovic. See all these letters? You try and sound them out.
Going to get thrown
It's a
around
family
is what's
thing.
going to happen there.
And Royce Isaacs faces Miles Bourne.
I like that too.
Yeah, it's a lot of NXT stars working the next Bloodsport. So that'll be exciting. Then we've got tonight, speaking of NXT, a lot announced for the show. We have got a number 1 contenders match with Andre Chase and Ridge Holland. And it's been made clear, you were not here on the Friday, Fun Friday edition of this program.
I was not.
But we did have somebody who called in, and they actually talked to Andre Chase at an event, and they asked him to clarify what the stipulations were for this match. Now, I have strongly argued that we should not break up Chase U. I think that would be a foolish idea. I think they should have just been called up to the main roster as Chase U, go as far as he can with him, gets over everywhere. Why screw this up? But Andre Chase, when asked what exactly are the stipulations, Andre Chase did say, if I lose, I don't lose Chase U. Chase U will still exist. I just can't have anything to do with Thea and Duke Hudson and Riley Osborne. So you know what that tells me? He's losing tonight. Because otherwise, why would he have been so specific in explaining what exactly the stipulations were in this particular match?
Well, let's be honest. It's not like we hadn't bandied that about, too. About the fact that why would you break up Chase U? Why would you 86 Chase U? It's one of the most popular things that you have. It's meta. You have Wrestling University, that is NXT, and inside of it you have Chase U. But if you're Thea Hale, you can't just linger there forever as a Chase U acolyte. At some point, your matriculation ends and you got to move on. And it's time for all of those folks to move on. Maybe you could have kept Duke Hudson around as somebody that could have been there as a lifer, always at the side of Andre Chase. But honestly, with how many people that you have coming in and out of NXT, through the indies, through NIL, through whatever, it gives Andre Chase the opportunity to be, in this day and age, a full-time pro wrestling manager with a whole new unit of people that constantly changes. So I love that idea, to be honest with you.
We'll see.
Oh, come on.
Carmen and Ashanti, the Adonis, versus Brinley Reese and Dion Lennox, the Bookworm.
Ashanti.
Tony D versus the Virgin, Brooks Jensen. We have Iron Survivor qualifying matches, which isn't that just part of a tournament? Qualifying matches for a tournament? It's just part of the tournament.
I hope they tell you who Nico is. So that's my big thing tonight is, will they tell Bryan who Nico the driver is?
We'll find out. We got Zari and Ren Sinclair in a qualifier, and Nathan Frazier and Eddie Thorpe in a qualifier, and Stephanie Vacure and Jada Parker in a qualifier.
I like it.
And we will also hear from Fatal Influence. Yeah. And then for the Dynamite show coming up on Wednesday, Orange Cassidy versus Wheeler Yuta, Claudio Castagnoli versus Darby Allin,
Castagnoli,
Will Ospreay, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricochet, and Mark Davis versus Takeshita, Brian Cage, Kyle Fletcher, and Lance Archer.
I don't mean
Someone
to be a
decided
hater.
that we needed a banger on Wednesday.
I don't mean to be a hater. I am not happy with the way that they have reintroduced Powerhouse Hobbs. He came out there for his match on Saturday, got no reaction whatsoever. He wasted too much time beating up whatever one of the Bear Country idiots that he beat with the torture rack. I do like that, but come on. You have Powerhouse Hobbs coming back. You have a guy that looks like that. You have a guy that people wanted to come back and have some sort of impact. Make an impact with him. At least have him kill dudes. Stop with the banger stuff. You need stars. That's how you establish them, not hanging out with Mark Davis. Sorry.
Just because of his outfit or what?
Look, you brought that up about his outfit, and so have a lot of people, because Yeah, he just looked like a guy coming off. He looked like a tough guy coming out of the bar that was going to fight Mike Tyson.
He didn't even
for
look
2
like
minutes.
a tough guy coming out of the bar. He looked like a guy coming out of the changing room in the pajamas area.
Man's
Here's
had
my bigger
loafers
issue with
on.
Mark Davis, okay?
Loafers!
Listen. So I could have sworn that, like, he came back and he had a chat with Kyle Fletcher. And it wasn't like they broke up. It was just Kyle told him, you're going to have to make a very important decision down the line. And so I was like waiting for the decision, but now they're like in just matches across from each other. Did I miss a show somewhere? Anyway, back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. We all went to the AEW WrestleDream pay-per-view in the Tacoma Dome. What a dump.
They've remodeled in the last 5 years.
I don't want to watch a show in the Tacoma Dome. I'm over that part of my life.
So this is all about
I
you.
want
Okay.
It is all about me. It's my show.
Yep.
Sick of these crappy dumps.
Rico. Yes. Rico Constantino.
When Rico Constantino showed up on the screen, I almost fainted.
If you would have slapped me with a bass, I would have been less surprised.
A bass,
Yeah.
you say?
Excuse
You
me.
heard me.
Now, you mean the fish or like a bass, the instrument?
No, a bass.
Well, he would have said a bass if he meant a bass.
Shibata hooks a rear naked choke, and Shibata's shoulders were down, and the referee counted 3.
I don't care what happened in Florida in 1973.
That is an Eddie Graham babyface finish when he wanted a heel to get a fluke win.
The crowd hated it.
Hated it.
You know, people are upset that Adam Cole's back as a babyface or whatever.
Why?
But, dude, he's been gone for a year. So they obviously want to do Adam Cole and MJF. MJF is a heel. So obviously Adam Cole is coming back as a babyface.
Yes. Will Ospreay, Takeshita, and Ricochet. My rating for this match was 1 zillion stars. I believe this may be my new favorite 3-way ever. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson.
You have to
Not a
say it in
fun
such a
match.
sad way.
Yes! It was sad. It was a sad match. That's it, before we even get to the post-match. The whole thing, start to finish, was sad. It was meant to bum you, the fans, out.
It worked.
It worked. It elicited emotions, which is what art is supposed to do.
It was very much like The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels when Undertaker retired him. And, like, that's exactly what happened, is everyone just slowly stood up and quietly, sadly walked out of the building that night.
There was one gentleman that was walking by us, and he was dripping in Bryan Danielson's merchandise. And he was wailing, and he cried, forget my language, I can't believe they punked out my favorite wrestler like a bitch. And he was so
Oh, wow.
upset.
And we go into that press conference. All I got to say about Don Callis is, man, I can't help but notice he's got a big mouth when he's got Takeshita right next to him, doesn't he?
That was a scintillating question. And I think maybe after that, we're finally, the Bryan and Vinny show might actually just be the Bryan show. That was producer Rob level stuff right there. Need to work on your game a little bit. Okay. Next.
Rob's so excited and happy now. He texted me today. So it looks like I'm feuding with Don Callis. Ha ha. That's what he texted me.
That's not the way I took it at all. I looked at his wiener, and now he's mad at me. Duh.
Joe Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. What is this we've got here? A couple of trademarks for AEW.
Is that what we got?
AEW Dynamite on 34th Street and AEW Christmas Collision.
It's very original there.
Those sound
the
like
former?
Christmas shows. Am I wrong?
Probably.
All right. Well, looks like we're going to be getting those here at some point. And when they will be, we'll find out. World's End also taking place December 28th.
Probably around
We got a lot of
Christmas time.
themed shows coming up, sounds like to me.
Oh, look at the one for January 1st.
What's the January 1st?
Got a tribute to the troops coming up there.
Oh, Fight for the Fallen.
Fight for the Fallen. Oh, yeah. Sorry, that's the other company.
Yes, these are
Doesn't matter because that show is going to get beat up. That's for sure. The college football playoffs expanding out this year to 12 teams. The quarterfinals take place on the 31st and the 1st. So I don't know exactly what NXT's plans are that week. I'm sure they're going to be taped. I don't know if they're going to be moved a day or not, but it's going to get spanked no matter what happens. Both shows.
What did you think of this Raw show?
Wasn't bad. I have been more bullish on Bronson Reed being invited in to the Bloodline situation at Survivor Series than you have. But I like the fact that it plays on the past between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. But more than that, it gives Bronson Reed more credibility going forward. He is, I don't want to say a made guy right now, but after he destroyed Rollins, he has been built up in this way. He destroys him again, beats him in a match. He's tied in now with the Bloodline. No matter what happens with them and Roman and Survivor Series and all that stuff, he's got now some extra credibility moving forward here. For me, I'm happy about that. I want characters like him and Braun Breaker and some others to really kind of get out of the pack and be kind of that next wave in there.
Well, I thought that the show was... Actually, I went as far in my report...
As to say it was 2 hours.
For those of you at WrestlingObserver.com who are subscribers or my super followers on Twitter, the show was great. Why?
Why?
Because we had two matches that were great. Braun Breaker versus Sheamus, and the main event of Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins. So first off, if I had to vote for most improved this year, it would be, of all people, Sheamus. 22 years into his career, this guy has come back, and his gimmick is banger after banger.
10 years ago, you wanted to kick this guy out of professional wrestling.
Well, I was really upset 10 years ago because he kept hurting people.
It's true.
Now he doesn't hurt anybody anymore.
Professional wrestling.
I've heard no reports of anyone getting hurt by Sheamus in a long time. And man, this guy goes out and he is incapable of having a bad match.
They're getting hurt, not injured.
And they're always great. And
Bangers.
Him and Braun Breaker, God, this match was awesome. But anyway, starting from the beginning of the show, since we didn't have a full review on Observer Radio because there wasn't one, I should mention, by the way, yesterday on this show, I said, Raw is taped tonight. They're giving everybody the entire week off for Thanksgiving. There's no post-Thanksgiving house show. Everyone just gets to chill out for a week. And then I was looking at the calendar because I was like, what the heck am I going to do for Thanksgiving? What's the plan? And it's not this week. It's next week. I said, wait a second. Why is this show taped? Why was Raw taped last night? So I asked, and the response was like, no one knows. No one has any idea why Raw was taped yesterday. So what I heard today is it appears to be that this deal that they signed, this short-term deal with the USA Network for Raw, running through the Netflix debut, apparently they were just like, in the contract, it's you get X number of taped shows. So I guess they took one.
Oh, they're only going to pay for so much production too. I'm sure that might have
if you're allowed to do a taped show, why spend all the money to do a live show?
Yeah.
So they taped it. So that's that. Anyway, Liv and Raquel come down to the
And you
ring.
know what that means anymore for anything? Zero. Nobody cares anymore.
No one cares. And it was actually not a bad tape show. Sometimes these tape shows feel like it. This one just felt like a live show, except for the one time it felt like a tape show was the opening segment where Liv and Raquel come out, and then Nia, Tiffany, and Candice come out, and Io Sky runs down, and Jade and Bianca, and we got this giant brawl, and then it ends up being 5-on-4, and then Rhea's music hits, and she runs down, screams War Games, headbutts Liv with the mask, giant brawl breaks out. So that's the War Games match. You've been figured out already. And there was a moonsault that Io hit on everybody outside, and for whatever reason, the brawl was heavily edited. Now, I got to ask a question to somebody in the chat here because I hear this crap all the time, and it's just... LH3310, do you actually watch WWE? I know he's going to lie and say yes, okay? But I know that the answer is actually no, because he's saying that he hates taped Raws because of the fake crowd noise.
Well, I will
Brother.
say this. There were a couple of times where it was like, all right, somebody shot the knob up a little too high.
I don't know, man. That show last night, I mean, there were segments where that place was dead. Because we're at hour 3 and 4 of a taping, and there was no piped-in crowd noise. It was just dead. And then something would happen, and they'd get back into it. But this idea that we're in that era where it's like tons and tons of crowd sweetening, I mean, what, they piped in a dead crowd? Okay.
Well, the
Got
thing is, too, they do it seemingly for the entrances a lot, is where it seems to be the most obvious, where somebody, even a lay person, can hear it. But if there's chants during the show, they're going to take those out, and that's not something that benefits them either. It's like, why?
Yeah, but they take out chants on a live show too. They just turn the volume off.
I know that, but sometimes they'll look when you watch the highlights of Raw on WWE.com. Like, there will be times where air is taken out, and that's what it sounds like they do for some of these tape shows. Is whatever they do for social media when it goes up there, when they have to blank something out. They just do that same thing for the tape shows. It's one of those things where if you heard it on WWE.com, you would know what I'm talking about.
Well, this is an example here. Ray and Zelina versus Ivy and Gable. They did a hot tag to Zelina early, and, like, where was the crowd sweetening, dude? This crowd, it was the coldest hot tag. She gets that hot tag, and it's just silence, and she's run wild, and then they cut her off for a while, and then she tags in Rey Mysterio Jr., and the crowd came to life for that guy, and he made his big comeback, 619, and he ends up hitting the springboard splash, and he gets the pin on Gable, and it felt
You're
like
trying to fool the people, not insult their intelligence, Brian.
it felt like just a match or whatever. But then the post match was so weird. American Made goes to help up Gable, and he gets really mad, and he starts screaming at the Creeds, "I'm not a loser." And he slaps Julius across the face. He slaps him across the face again. Brutus starts laughing that his brother got slapped. So Julius starts, shoving his brother. And then Chad just grabs them both and he hugs him and he goes, "That's what I'm talking about." And they left together.
Yeah.
I was like, that was just weird. That was just something weird to do.
No, not really. It's a way to now reestablish the Creeds because they've constantly lost. So now you have something where Gable's been doing nothing. Let's do something with this group. And he's got these two knuckleheads here that will beat up each other. Now you got to turn that on and beat up these other people on the roster, like the Viking Raiders, who that seems to be possibly a good combination there.
Had some segments with Finn Balor and Dom and everybody, setting up some matches later. We got a Miz and Final Testament video package. Miz said he hoped the Academy saw his performance. He said this would be the jumpstart to Marine 7, and then he calmly says, "Maybe this could be Tarantino's last film." I will not lie. I howled at that line. Quentin Tarantino's final film will be the Marine 7 with Mike Mizanin. Did you guys know that? Yeah. It's not going to be. Gunther yelled at Ludwig, and Gunther still is not he's not sure what's going on.
Shook.
He asks him, am I still the old ring general? Ludwig said, yes, nothing has changed. And then Gunther goes to Priest is sitting at a table and he's signing autographs or something backstage, and Gunther goes up to him, grabs him by the neck, and Priest just beats the crap out of him, leaves him for dead. Which, this is way better than when a babyface attacks a heel and then gets killed. This was the heel attacked the babyface and got killed, so now he's really shook. And Priest laughed at him.
Boy, Priest really turning on that New York accent, isn't he?
Hey, he got a lot of credit for it. Braun Breaker and Sheamus for the Intercontinental title. The finish sucked. It was Ludwig Kaiser running in for the DQ. But, this match was so good, I didn't even care. It was they had a spot near the end. It started out, it's kind of the crowd is kind of sort of into it. Where's the crowd sweetening? But as we get going, they start doing these spots, and they did a spot at the end where Braun hits the run up the ropes Frankensteiner, Place goes nuts. Sheamus is struggling to his feet. Braun's in the corner. Braun goes for the spear, and Sheamus out of nowhere hits the jumping brogue knee. And this place went wild for that spot. It sounded like Sheamus just murdered this guy. And then he goes for the brogue. Braun rolls outside, and Ludwig shows up for the DQ. And Ludwig kills Sheamus, vows not to quit until Sheamus is done for good. God. Person here says, I don't understand booking Gunther is so weak and doubt-filled going into a match against a guy he's already beaten. Brother, that's exactly why. Gunther's already beaten Priest. So if you push Gunther as like unstoppable, there isn't one single person that thinks there's any chance of him losing. So you have to show weakness. You have to show a physical and a psychological weakness to Gunther so that people think, you know what? Priest might actually beat this guy.
Yeah.
And I've had people say that. Maybe Priest is going to beat this guy. So that's the point. That's why you do it. Can't have him go in there and kill Priest again, leading to this rematch.
And you have other concurrent things that are happening there. The most important one is you are trying to establish Damian Priest away from Rhea Ripley, away from everything else, as one big badass that everybody wants to get behind and can kick everyone's tail if given the opportunity with no distractions. And that's what you're trying to do, as well as a sub-shoulder story that you have with Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. And Kaiser obviously now playing into the Intercontinental title mix. So I think it's a win no matter how you slice it.
Then we had Jay, Jimmy, and Sammy meeting with Seth. Seth still will not accept their War Games invitation. We had the War Raiders beating Dom and Carlito, which was fun while it lasted. And then afterwards, JD and Finn hit the ring, and they all destroyed the War Raiders. And the announcers were going on and on about how they're focusing on Eric's neck, Eric's neck, Eric's neck, Eric's neck. He's got a bad neck. I was like, are you guys aware that they both have a bad neck? Like, Ivar just came back from major neck surgery, but it's like they've forgotten that. So there's two necks.
The pile driver on SmackDown has changed everything.
We had Alpha Academy running into Kofi, and we had once again an issue with Woods showing up, and they got into a big argument, and Woods ends up challenging Alpha Academy to a match next week. He's totally heelish. And then the main event was Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, and the Bloodline, the new Bloodline showed up. And finally, there at the end, Solo distracted Seth. Bronson hits him with a DVD off the top, a senton, a second senton, and a tsunami, and pinned him. It's a freaking awesome finish. And the tsunami is my favorite big splash in all of wrestling. From anybody. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Let's do this unnecessary censorship.
Talk about your Psalms, talk about John 3:16. Austin 3:16 says I just your ass.
That was terrible. Horrible. They weren't the Heart Foundation. They weren't the British Bulldogs, okay? They're two geeks. And this celebration these guys did.
Oh.
I mean, they're like, Sean, give me brother. Yeah.
A place like that?
You two dorks. That's what you did. Why are you so excited?
Because they're awesome.
Okay. That was better than the first one.
It picked up at the end there.
Yes.
Unnecessary censorship.
He beat him. And 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 he beat him. I'm sweating.
Time to stop.
And he beat him.
Was this edited?
And then he beat him. And he beat him. So. I actually wore that shirt. It just says he beat him. He beat him. He beat him all the way down. Like,
all the way down, you say?
I dropped her off at camp, and the camp counselor just looks at me. She goes, he beat him and beat him. I was like, gag gift.
Brian, would you for me again this week? It's too hot to do much.
That's true. It is too hot to do much.
I guess I just better do it because it came up for me.
I'll wait.
It won't come up again. It's pretty short, so I'll just do it. Yeah. Now I gotta find it back.
Okay.
It isn't
Dale, I'm
coming
gonna
up.
kill you. How about you just it? Okay.
Ouch.
What else we got, Vinny? I love that Granny licks her finger to turn the page. Lick that finger. There'll be
Page
an
2.
unnecessary censorship coming up. Lick that. Okay, let's see. Unnecessary censorship.
So Oro Ethan after the match and gets his ass just into the earth.
Vinny.
And Ethan is leaving, holding his all confident. And then Oro just comes back to life, and now he Ethan's ass.
Oro jumps him from behind.
Yep.
Then he his ass after cheap shotting the guy. Haha. That was interesting. That's quite unnecessary. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Let me talk about the tsunami.
All right.
Why it's so awesome. Okay?
All right.
The tsunami is awesome because on paper it should not be awesome. He climbs up. He doesn't even stand all the way on the top rope. And he doesn't jump up once he's standing up there. He climbs up. He puts 1 foot on the top rope. And then he just goes. Okay? And I think it's the way that he doesn't stand on the top rope, where because he's so big, he starts to climb and he puts his foot there. And then, I think the illusion in your mind is because he's so big, he can't stand with both feet on the top rope because, it would break. So he must put that foot up there and just jump. And then he jumps and he does this thing with his arms on the way down. And they always shoot it a little bit from down below. And it's on paper, it's the least impressive splash because everybody else tries to jump really high or whatever. Montez tries to jump as high as possible, and the Usos, they do something first and then jump, or whoever. But it's he does it in such a way that even though he doesn't go up, he doesn't stand there to make it look like it's coming from even higher. He has a way of doing it where it looks like this will kill someone. If you are underneath this man's tsunami, you will die. And if he hits you 6 times, you're out of action for months, like Seth Rollins. He's got a way of doing it. It's my favorite big splash. But anyway, on that happy note, yeah, it does kind of look like he's falling. He's falling out of control. And he lands and crushes him. It's amazing. But anyway, we got to wrap it up. Thanks, Mike, as always. Callers and listeners up in the studio tonight. Bryan and Vinny Show, provided we have power. Cross our fingers. Wrestling Observer Live.